Hi, Arlo. Alright, so I finally got the option to do full self-driving beta on this car, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the capabilities that it has, the cost, and whether or not that I think it's actually worth it right now. So stick with me and we'll get into it. So full self-driving beta right now, which is still in beta, not only has been updated to now cost $15,000, increasing from $10,000 that it was before, bless you, bud, which was an increase over the $8,000 I think it was before that, which was over the $5,000 that it initially was. So it's increased in price over threefold in the last couple of years, and the capabilities with it really have not increased very much. So much so that they actually added an additional option for enhanced self-driving, or enhanced autopilot. So we've got a big road trip coming up to Acadia National Park in Maine, which is somewhere between an 8 and 10 hour drive, depending on how long we stop for charging. So I was considering doing the monthly subscription, which is $200 for full self-driving, just to test it out on there and you know, have that increased automation and make the drive a little bit less tedious and easy for myself. But started looking into it, and even at just $200 once, you know, what'll essentially just be the one time for the year, I still can't really make the argument for it based on what it currently does. So there's a lot of promise for the future, but as it currently stands, I just don't see how full self-driving is a option that really makes any financial sense right now. So standard on the Teslas right now, you have standard autopilot, which is, you know, basically what you want to use on the highways. So keeps you in your lane, follows the curvature of the road, maintains your distance from the cars in front of you, and does like automatic distance and speed controlled cruise control. You can then upgrade if you like, either for a one-time cost of $6,000, or actually they only offer it monthly, to enhanced autopilot, which gives you the option for automatic lane changes on the highway. So it'll switch if you are going slower than desired, and pass around cars, and then like automatically merge back. But the things that you don't get with that, that you only get with full self-driving, are the summon features, where the car will drive to you, although I've heard that's pretty flaky as well. And then the main thing is the full self-driving, which is basically autopilot but on city streets, and that is still in beta. You can only get it if you have a certain safety score, which the car calculates based off of your driving. Basically the number of hard accelerations, hard braking, quick turning, forward collision warnings, and a couple other factors. All right, I'm back. So, you know, I don't want to criticize full self-driving too much. I know that there are a lot of people that have already bought into it in one way or the other, either through a subscription or paying for it. According to some numbers I saw, there are already over 100,000 Tesla customers that have signed up for it. But I think, you know, you're basically just making a bet on the future right now, and it's essentially a investment for hopeful future benefit rather than being something that you're actually getting value for right now. So for me, at least, that really doesn't make any sense right now, and I want to caution people about it because I think a lot of people that maybe aren't as well versed on Tesla, like through its history and, you know, even currently, like basically what that means. Like, people just see the name full self-driving and they think, oh, I'm gonna get a car that is like full self-driving and I can use it as a taxi. I can fall asleep in it or read books or do work and whatever, and you know, it's still really far from that right now. You might be getting that in years from now, you know, maybe, but it's certainly not there yet, and it's going to be a while still. So the first thing to know about it is that in order to even get access to it, beyond just paying, even if you just pay for it, like you're not getting it right away, you have to sign up for the beta, and you have to be like allowed into it through your safety score. So you've got to have a safety score in the high 90s right now. It sounds like they're kind of continuously and regularly updating that and like reducing the limit. So probably as of like the time that this goes up, that'll be somewhere like a little bit closer to 90 or maybe even below it. But you know, not everybody is getting it, and you have to be very aware of that and careful, because you're not getting access the second that you plunk down your money for it yet. Another important thing to know is that it is still in beta, so it is, even Tesla doesn't consider it, you know, fully ready to go right now. And this isn't like, you know, a Google beta for Gmail and stuff like that, where it was in beta for 10 years. But like basically a fully baked product. Like this is still very beta. Like you are gonna have times when it just disengages itself. You're gonna have times when it doesn't know what to do, and you're gonna have to take over and make quick adjustments for safety's sake. You cannot just turn it on and like not pay attention to the road. You have to be aware of what's going on around you. I would, you know, strongly suggest having your hands like immediately on the wheel in case you need to take over, and certainly foot on the brake too, you know, for that. So you're gonna be paying just as much attention driving on full self-driving, maybe even more so than if you were just driving yourself. So while it can definitely reduce the cognitive load a little bit, and just the fatigue of you know, having to manually handle the accelerator and brakes, as well as turn the wheel, you're still going to be like paying a lot of attention, and it's not going to you know, allow you to like not pay attention to what's going on the road, or it shouldn't, because it's not safe to do that. And then the other big reason for me, honestly, that I don't think it is worth it right now is that you're pretty much getting all of what you really want it for, at least for me, through standard autopilot, since most of my driving's on the highway anyway, or at least most of the driving, like when I, you know, really trust the car to handle it. You know, I would love like being able to have automatic lane changes and like navigation on the highway. But like I don't really need that, and it's not worth the $15,000 to me. So I'm happy to do those things myself and just rely on the standard autopilot, which I think is great for you know, handling even situations like this where I'm, you know, in a little bit of traffic. It's going to slow down automatically for me, keep me in the lane, and basically handle this situation entirely for me. Kind of give you a view of what I'm talking about right now. So right now it's handling this for me. I have my hand on the wheel, but you know, it's doing all the driving, which is great. So yeah, I mean, this is most of what I want it for. I really don't care about it driving me around, you know, on my street and like getting onto the highway and stuff. It would be great to get that in the future, but I don't think it's there yet, and I don't fully trust it. So I think another thing to keep in mind with full self-driving is that pricing-wise, it's actually not that competitive with some of the other options out there. Now, before everybody jumps in and tells me like how different these things are, I know they're not apples to apples, but the closest kind of competitor you have right now is Super Cruise that GM has, which like I am not one to give GM a lot of credit for, but from everything I have seen and read about, is actually very competent and fairly close to full self-driving, at least on highways and stuff. So very similar to Autopilot, if not a little bit better, and doesn't seem to have some of the issues with phantom braking that you get on Tesla's Autopilot. That is actually $2,500 as an option, and then $25 a month after that. So that's like, you know, about 1/9, 1/10 the price of monthly price, at least, of full self-driving. And then Blue Cruise from Ford, they haven't really announced like the actual pricing yet, because it's kind of new, and they're pretty much giving everybody like the first 2 years for free as part of it. So it's on the Mach-E right now, and the F-150, and the Lightning, and even some of the gas cars. And the rumor is that it is going to be a somewhere between around like $200 a month, basically. But they haven't officially announced that yet, and no one's really sure. So, you know, that is pretty similar, but you know, I think also another compelling option. They're not, well, they are, I think, aiming for basically the same levels of autonomy as full self-driving, but I would say they're probably a little bit behind that. But their highway driving, I think, is actually a little bit better and more full-featured. So you get automatic lane changes, standard as part of that. Though it does not do the navigation either. Oh, I really need to put the voice on for directions because I'm not paying attention. Yeah, and so one of the reasons I'm kind of down on full self-driving is that, you know, it has got to be so much more advanced than Autopilot is. I mean, there's so much more you know, complications that it has to deal with as a system, from, you know, people to animals to you know, just anticipating other situations that you don't have on the highway that Autopilot has to deal with. And until Autopilot gets to the point where I feel like it's truly competent and you know, nearly perfect, I don't see how full self-driving can really get there. Like, you've got to clear the one barrier first before you kind of get, you know, good at the other one. So I appreciate that, like, they're investing in it and it's getting better and better, and they're collecting so much data through the betas and everything. But I just feel like there's such a long way to go still before it would be something that you know, I even trust, even if it were fully available. So you know, until they can fix some of the things with Autopilot, especially the ones I've noticed, like more with the camera-only vision-based system compared to the radar one that I had in my old Model 3, like phantom braking and rapid acceleration and deceleration, not really handling speed limit changes very gracefully from what I've seen, especially lately. I think like the latest software updates have actually made that worse, although I'm probably a little bit behind. I think I have one pending right now, and some people said that they noticed it actually got a little bit better there. So we'll see on that one, but you know, it's good to see that they're like constantly tuning it and improving it, but I feel like there's just a long way to go still with all of that. And then the other thing right now is that I think a lot of people are buying it as sort of a way to supplement their income. They think that they're going to get self-driving and basically like just rent out their car as a automated Uber or taxi or something, and like they're not going to have to do anything, and the car will just do it all for them and like generate this passive income. Again, like maybe in years that'll be the case, but it's definitely not there yet. I certainly wouldn't trust like somebody in my car with it without me being there right now. The capability's not there, the like features that you would need for that, safety-wise and everything, are not there. And even bigger, like the regulation and everything is still really far from that. And I think you know, with how slow things have moved generally around self-driving and even just like EVs in general, I think it's going to take a long time for the regulation to catch up there. And in the meantime, they're much more likely to be, you know, really aggressive about regulating it and like preventing things until safety and everything can get proven out. Plus think about like, you know, what are the taxi unions and stuff are going to do? Like, think of how hard they went after Uber and Lyft and stuff. What are they going to do like when it's you know, essentially a robot totally taking their jobs? They are not going to be happy about that. No politician is going to want to support that. And I think there's a lot of headwind that has to be overcome there still. And we're also going to have to see if Tesla's even the first one that gets there. So Xpeng, which is a Chinese company that is largely available only in China right now, but has been expanding into Europe, and actually saw their showroom in Norway. I think Norway was the first country that they have that they built showrooms in, although they have showrooms in a couple countries now. But Norway is the first country that they've actually been like delivering some vehicles to. So anyway, they launched their latest SUV model, which has their version of full self-driving, and it's going to be on all cars going forward from them too. So they are already there. Like, who knows how they're going to handle regulation and everything too. Who knows if those cars will ever actually come to the US, but you know, they're out there and pushing for it and giving Tesla a run for the money. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there and if they're able to compete too. So you know, and from what I've read about that, they're anticipating that it is actually a bit more competent than Tesla's system right now. So you know, we'll see like who's able to kind of win that race. So it's good that Tesla's in that race, but it's still very, very early on in that race. And the reason that this bothers me in the first place, like why I even have a strong opinion about it, is that, you know, like a lot of things that I think Tesla is doing lately, I feel like it's a distraction from kind of the core thing. I'm glad that they're investing in it. I think it is, you know, something smart to be looking at for the future. But the pure engineering effort and capacity that's going into it, I think is really a distraction from a lot of what they could and should be doing elsewhere. I would really love to see them double down on the models that they've got right now, improve Autopilot itself, and show how they can, again, be like industry leading there, before they like put all of this focus into this total side thing. Like, I guess there's going to be, you know, some benefits that come from that to other systems like Autopilot. You know, it kind of does set them up more as a AI company, and perhaps helps with this robotics thing that they're also getting into. But, you know, that's yet another thing that they're branching out to. And I'm worried that they're just going too broad right now, where they could be putting a little bit more depth into investment in R&D on the existing product lines and making those better, especially as they're scaling up and introducing so many first-time buyers to Tesla and to EVs overall. And I'd like to see them make that experience better for them. I would also like to see them, you know, increasing range and charging speeds the way that they had been in the past. Like, I feel like they're really slowing down on this lately, and there haven't been significant improvements in the range and charging speeds over the last couple of years. Probably the last big one was the introduction of the Model S Plaid, which has longer range and charges super fast, but like that hasn't trickled down into the other model lines much at all yet. And I know everyone's going to tell me, oh, just wait for the new 4680 batteries to come out. That'll change everything, but like right now they're not using that to increase range or charging speed. They're using that just to make it cheaper to put on the standard range variants, and to make it so that you can utilize the full battery pack on a daily basis, which are good things, but they're not the same thing as increasing range and charging speeds. And then again, Xpeng, which I know is not like a true competitor or at all a competitor in the US, but I think, you know, they are doing interesting stuff too. They, on this new model of their car, announced that they are going to be able to give 125 miles in 5 minutes of charging. That is insane and totally changes the, you know, road trip game and the planning and everything that you have to do. And I think just like removes a lot of the anxiety people have about going from ICE cars to electric ones. So I would love to see Tesla do something like that. They also said that it'll be able to go from 10% to 80% in just 15 minutes. So yeah, I mean, what a game changer that will be. I mean, that gets very close to like what it takes to, you know, gas up your car and everything. So that really removes, I think, a big reason that people are giving for not moving to EVs. And on top of all of it, that car is actually going to be cheaper than the Model Y long range. So, you know, interesting competitor. You know, not one that I think like really has that direct of an impact and everything, but as you know, Tesla has always really been the industry leader in the EV world. I like to see them, you know, continue that and like respond to some of this competition that's coming, rather than you know, just putting so much effort into like these other things that they're doing right now. So anyway, long story short, that's why I haven't invested in full self-driving. It is why I don't think it's worth the investment right now. I know everyone's going to say, oh, well, it's going to keep increasing in price and you're going to miss out, but I don't think that you should buy something today for the promise of what it's going to do tomorrow, especially when what you're getting today is, you know, either nothing if you're not eligible right now, or you know, still pretty limited in terms of what it can actually do. I think it's a lot of money to pay to be a beta tester for something, and to be basically giving them a ton of money that they can, you know, make money off of, and not really be an investment for you. That's going to pay off anytime soon. So I think you're much better off actually, if you're going to buy it, take that $15,000, put it into Tesla stock. Maybe right now that's not the best idea with the way the market is going, but overall in the long term, I think you know, by the time you're really going to get much value out of full self-driving anyway, you would see a pretty good return on investment on Tesla stock. Disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor and you should not take my advice, but overall I think there are a lot better things to do with that much money right now, and things that'll pay off much more for you in the long term. So am sure that not everyone will agree with me on this. I hope it helps some people who were debating. I hope it helps people that are new to Tesla and not really sure what full self-driving actually means and what you're getting right now. But yeah, if you disagree with me, I'm happy to hear about it. Please do leave comments below. Let me know what I might be missing about it, or what reasons you found compelling to make the investment. Or if you're not getting it and agree, let me know too. I'd love to hear, you know, what parts resonated with you as well. With that, yeah, please give a like if you found this interesting. It helps out the channel and helps me continue making these videos and growing it quite a bit. And please also do consider subscribing to learn more about your potential first steps into the world of EVs. Got lots more both Tesla and other EV content coming still, so you don't want to miss any of it. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.